Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to one more edition of Politics Done Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being part of the show. Prosecutor versus convicted felon. Bridge MCP, you know if you put something like that on the screen, I'm going to get to that right away. Again, we repeat. Prosecutor versus convicted felon. In MAGA world, they are going berserk. If you go to Fox News or if you go to any of the Twitter chat, if you go onto Twitter and you're following any of the leading MAGA personalities, you see that these guys are completely in a panic. And you know why? Because they thought they were going to be they're running against an old man that can't move, that won't fight back, that won't talk about the truth about the economy, or is able to counter the lies that the economy is out. It's amazing. Anyway, before I get started, let me go ahead and welcome everybody. Welcome aboard, Michael Rudden from Brooklyn, New York. Welcome aboard, Paul Fleming from Powder Springs, Georgia. Welcome aboard, Bridge MCP from Binghamton, New York. That's upstate New York. Welcome aboard, Eric Hayes from Atascocita, Kingwood. Welcome aboard, Mike Cisak from Missouri. Welcome aboard, Bruce Pollard from Kingwood, Texas. Welcome aboard. Let's see, who else am I missing? Yvette Everett Herod, Nuestra Hermosa Yvette Everett Herod from Atlanta, Georgia. We also have with us Deb Denny calling in from South Central Indiana. And who else did I miss? Did I miss anybody else? If I missed you, shoot me a line at the bottom and we'll take it from there. Anyway, the big news, of course, is that President Biden did exactly what we thought he was going to do. And actually, forcing people out is not democracy, just plain hypocrisy. No, we didn't. Look, was he forced out? If we really wanted to be honest, he didn't want initially to leave because he was getting bad at polling information. But the entire party was going to hell because he was bringing down the party. And the party did the appropriate thing. They constantly went and they spoke to him, and they did what they were supposed to do. So while they had to put pressure on him to get the real the truth out, the answer is always country, or rather, the country over party, party over individual. And we never allow the individual. You never allow the individual to be more powerful than the nation, than the country. So we are doing nothing that isn't what should have been done. And the great thing about it is Kamala Harris has invigorated a whole lot of young people, a whole lot of folks. Yesterday, there was a call from black sororities from around the country. They thought they would get 15,000 people out or so to go on this call. They got over 40,000, 44,000 on this one call. That's 44,000 workhorses that are going to go out there for the ticket. All volunteers, 44,000. The army has been unleashed. And that was the fear that the convicted felon thought about, because he understood that that was what was coming. The reality is a convicted felon has no place. A convicted felon, a rapist, one who covets his own child, a a thief, one who steals from his own charity, one who rips people off with a false university, one who stiffs his employees and doesn't pay them for work they've done, threatening to sue them, and as they sue them, just keep them in court because he knows he has more money than they do. She has received so far $81 million in donations in less than 24 hours. It is currently up to 90 millions as I understand it, but Bridge is now telling me that a super PAC just gave 150 million. She had been endorsed by so many states. It is starting out very well. And let me just say one thing about what's going to happen. Donald Trump is going to get misogynistic, sexist, and racist on Kamala. And he's going to try to trigger that part of the MAGA base that is susceptible to their veiled racism. Remember the Tiki Torch folks that walk with, they will not replace us. Remember those racists that were walking through that Donald Trump said they were good people too? Some of them were good people too. Remember the misogyny that they used against Hillary Clinton. Even as she won the election by popular vote, of course, she didn't win in all the right places. Well, Kamala knows what's coming. She knows the attacks. She knows the racism, sexism, and all the isms that going to greet her in the next few days. They are lost right now. They're looking up for everything that they can twist into a lie. They're searching. They're looking. They're going through all her videos. They're going through all her paperwork because they want to find several things. She was a prosecutor. So the racist Trump think what he can do is use her prosecuting effectively in San Francisco, meaning she was a tough prosecutor. And guess what that means? A lot of people went to jail, and he's going to try to create some division between her and black men with the folks that got convicted. He's also going to try to make her relationship with Willie Brown, who was a Speaker of the House in California. It's amazing. Even when California's House went Republican, this Democrat from Texas who went to California remained Speaker. So he's going to try to make that an issue. Of course, it's funny because everything that he tries to make an issue, while she did it civilly and nicely, he did it in the form of raping women, in the form of having several baby mamas, in the form of everything bad you can think of. That is who Donald Trump is. Now, of course, yeah, Bridge, she got endorsed by the Nikki Haley Super PAC. Again, the ball is rolling. Remember, I said this was going to be a landslide election. When people see remember, Donald Trump is desperate. He needs to win this election so he can get rid of all the private papers. What do you call those? What do you call that stuff? You know, the papers that he stole from the government, top secret papers. He wants to get that case thrown out. He wants to get all the federal cases thrown out. He can't get the state cases thrown out. But while he's president, you can't prosecute him. And if he becomes president, you know he's going to try to hold on to the job even beyond the 4 years. But it doesn't really matter because in 4 years, who knows? Is he even around? So let's be prepared. Let's be prepared for the racism, sexism, and misogyny that is going to be unleashed. What he doesn't understand is this isn't 2016 anymore. We are 8 years beyond 2016 with a larger population that have grown up, meaning 8 years worth of new population and 8 years worth of dead people. All right? So it has changed. The playing field has changed. The playing field has changed. So for all of you out there that are scared, it's a black Asian woman that's running. Can she win? I first say it's a woman that's running. There are more women in this country than there are men. But not only that, it is women that the Republican Party, the MAGA Party, I shouldn't call it the Republican Party anymore, because now we have Liz Cheney on our side, we have Nikki Haley's PAC on our side. So we should not call it the Republican Party against women, even though we know there's a large sect of them against women. We should call it what it is, and that is MAGA against women. MAGA against the other. All right, let me start reading some of your stuff here. Let's see what we got here. We got para ver. First of all, do I need to salute anybody new that came in? I don't see anybody yet. So yes, I do see we have Miss Steigen Birken Creek. Welcome aboard. All right, let's go ahead. Paul Fleming, Michael says New York Times, Biden drops out of presidential race after intense pressure from within his own party. President Biden said he was ending his campaign backing President Kamala Harris. He did it for the good of the party. And we shouldn't say he did it for the good of the party solely. He did it for the good of the nation. Michael Rodden says, I look forward to early voting for Kamala Harris soon. Absentee ballot arrive next month. Egberto, meme for the screen. Trump is now the oldest president. Yeah, we have an old man running for president, and his name is Trump. Remember that, folks. The old man running for president is Trump. Trump is now the oldest, old, crooked, and sleepy presidential nominee in U.S. history. The oldest presidential campaign nominee in history is now running. Remember, it's amazing how when you point the finger, when they come pointing back. Paul Fleming says, Joe Biden has presided over the most consequential first term of real progress in my lifetime. He helped us have the most robust recovery from the pandemic of any nation in the world, and we are doing better than any nation in the world right now. We are the top nation economically in the world right now, even as Donald Trump would like to lie to you about it. And in fact, folks, I'd like you to go ahead to my Substack, to my newsletter, Egberto Off the Record. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get that right now. Bear with me as I search for it. I want to get to that article right now that I wrote over the weekend, because this article is about Kamala ascending to the throne from after Biden helped. And this is what I'd like you to go read when you get a chance. And I'm going to put the link right now, because here are the brother's accomplishments that I have listed. And this is just a few, right? But I wrote it right after Biden endorsed Kamala. And you can find that link right there. I have the link on. Did I put the link there? Yeah, I put the link there. Check that out. It's worth a read. It's worth a read. Let me go ahead right now and shut a few things down here. That is the story that we're talking about today. So today we're going to talk about progressives back Kamala Harris, Clyburn schools Manchin, and Biden passes the torch to Harris. That is the intent. That's what we're talking about. No man can defeat me, Donald Trump says. And Kamala replies, I'm no man. So a woman's going to defeat your butt, Donald Trump. All right. What else have we got here from our peeps? So he says, I'm going down. I'm scrolling down. Ken Paxton is from Paul Fleming. Ken Paxton is among the most aggressive AGs in the nation, using consumer protection laws to pursue political targets. A judge recently denied his effort to shut down a migrant shelter, ruling state laws are preempted by federal laws and unenforceable. This guy is a creep. I can tell you that. Brother J Ray is in the house. Welcome aboard, J Ray. Great to see you here. Bree says JD Vance wrote how he masturbated in his book. Meme would what is going crazy. Given page number, he used medical glove, melted butter, and put it between couch cushion and are you serious? Vance put that in a book? Madre mia. Hey, Breach, give me the page number. I'll make the meme for that. J Ray also says, welcome, Peaks. Mike Cesek says, Democrats will have a major problem now. Will they have a nominee by the deadline many states have in place to get put on the ballot? You see, now they want to start the tricks, guys. Oh my God. Even though we have they're not going, we are going to play all these tricks so that they don't get the nominees all in time. Well, let me tell you what we have intended to do. She's wrapping it up early next week, and we will vote by the deadline that Ohio has, which is the only state that is of concern right now. So we will have a nominee that is voted on by the convention, by the delegates in the convention before our actual convention. So our actual convention is just gonna be to highlight what was already done by vote. Okay, that's all. So I know you're wishful thinking, Mike Csack, it ain't gonna happen. All right, Holy City 2012, welcome aboard. Liberals always try to make apologies for fascists. No, you all are the fascists, my dear. The fascists are the ones like Donald Trump who try to overthrow the government. We have it. Do you know what's the funniest thing about it? We have it on video, and you guys still don't like to accept it. Even though you see, that shows you el problema mental que tienes. ¿Por qué es que no pueden pensar? We have it on video. All right, let's see. Steigen Bergen Greek says, it feels like Democrats are going to betray democracy to save democracy. That's effed up. I always believed Democrats were the honest moral freedom party. I feel like I have been lied to. Why is that, Steigen? Why do you feel like you've been lied to? Please explain, because maybe I need to explain a few things why that is not the case. Don't believe what you hear from the right. The right will try to create dissension among us. Don't fall for it. That's what they do. That's what they do best. All right, new meme. Republicans wanted to talk about age. Let's talk about age. Brian Tyler Cohen. I love his stuff on Occupy Democrats. Very good one. Very good one. All right. What else have we got here? Paul Fleming says, for weeks, the media openly questioned Biden's fitness for office because of a bad debate, but they never questioned Trump's fitness for office when he said bleach and sunshine can cure COVID. And you know what, Paul, you're right. We have to do all of that ourselves. Paul, let me ask you something. Do you have a Facebook account? Do you have a YouTube account? Do you have a Instagram account? All of us are the media. And what I try to tell folks, if you can't do it yourself, you go ahead and you spread politics done right on Instagram. Spread politics done right on Twitter, now known as X. Spread. If you don't come up with your own memes or your own videos, share ours. Give it more traction, because that's what they do. They have paid people to do it. We have to depend on you. Let me give you a little something that happened recently. One of the videos that I showed you today has gone viral. And it's a very important video that has gone viral that I did yesterday. And what I want to do is I want to give you the link to that video, because let's make it has over 100,000, about 105,000 now, I think it's at. If I look in the back end, it's about 105,000 views. But we should be able to get this video up to 1 million views. Let me put it in a chat. That's my video. I did that yesterday. It's in the chat now. And that video has garnered over 100,000 views. It says something. And it needs to it touched people. So it needs to go ahead and get a lot more. But let's go ahead and start with our first video of the day. And I think you guys kind of know what it's going to be all about. So let's get started. Democrats are excited. All of America should be excited. First of all, we have to give kudos to President Biden for actually passing the torch and passing that torch to Kamala Harris. He had an accomplished 3.5 years. He has done in 3.5 years what many presidents haven't done in 1 or 2 terms, or for that matter, in their lifetimes. This president who, again, I never considered a progressive, who more had neoliberal tendencies, turned out to be the best president for progressives, the best president we've had in my lifetime. I mean, if you take a look at his policies, from his COVID-19 response, which was the competent response, the Infrastructure and Investment Act that created a whole lot of jobs and is creating a whole lot of jobs, the American Rescue Plan that brought us back economic success out of the pandemic, the Climate Action Plan as he rejoined the Paris Accords and did more for green energy, the foreign policy and alliances that he created both for NATO and across the world, judicial appointments that reflected America, the American family plans and social policy plans, great stuff, gun measures that help. Well, we still need more of that, but gun measures that hadn't been done in decades, immigration initiatives that bypass Congress for certain things, even as he failed to get the Republicans to come on board. And of course, there's economic recovery and growth. There's so much that this president did, a lot of it that still needs to be completed. In appointing or in endorsing Kamala Harris to continue the job, what he has done is he said, there is a lot that we got done. The two of us, there's a lot that we've gotten done now. And the path must continue. We can't regress by having a criminal in chief take over the presidency, where all these things would be placed on the back burner and instead we would get instituted Project 2025. We cannot have that. So therefore, given that the president finally realizes that he was not the best spokesperson for all that was attained under his presidency, a younger person, a more articulate person, somebody that can carry that mantra and has their own set of policies that they want to put out there to help the working class, the middle class, women, and everybody else. That is what has to be done. And he finally came to the conclusion that, yes, this is better for America. And as he realized that it was better for America, so he did it. Folks, there is a new beginning, and it is on us to go forward. It is on America to lay the plan. The Republicans have already given us an easy pathway. Their policies are so bad, from their attacks on women, attacks on democracy, attacks on freedom, all these things that they have not only talked about, but they've codified with a Supreme Court that has given the president infinite immunity, that they've codified in a 900-page report known as Project 2025. They have laid out the path for Democrats to run on, not run against, but run on, to be able to say these particular policies will kill, they'll harm, they'll take away your freedom, they'll do all these things to you. And it's out there written for you to see. The path is there for Democrats to follow for not only success at the presidential level, not only at the senatorial, congressional, and other levels, but throughout the country, from municipal elections to state elections to federal elections throughout the country. The path is laid. Whether we grab the bull by both horns and run with it, that's a choice we have to make. There is a robust Democratic win that is waiting for those who decide to pick it up and run with it. America says that what they believe in are the values that progressives really stand for, not the caricature that Republicans or MAGA makes of what we believe in. Most of what America wants are the policies we support. Are you ready to win with policies? It is time. We have a lot of work to do. We have to educate a lot of people, from Appalachia to the ghettos to the barrios, all the people that are currently disengaged or ill-informed. We have to get the job done. We have to inform everybody about our new beginning, about us taking the country back from those who have stalled it, from those who have harmed it. But to do that, you know what, folks? We also need your support. So what I'm going to ask you to do is, please remember, support us through our newsletter at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Support us through our support pages at politicsdoneright.com/support. We cannot do this without you supporting that which will bring us victory in November. Absolutely. So folks, let me just go ahead and tell you verbally now, please support us by becoming a paid subscriber of our newsletter. Go to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter, or find another way to support us by just going to politicsdoneright.com/support. Now, let me go ahead and I want to talk to my sister here, Steigen Bergen Creek. I know to you what happened with Biden looked bad, but it started out horrendously bad. Not now, but this happened years ago. And let me explain. When Biden came to power magnanimously, he said, we can't have a racist like Donald Trump, a fascist like Donald Trump in office. It is a clear and present danger to who we are as Americans. And because of the nature of what has happened, first of all, we're not a democracy in the way that the Electoral College works. And because of the nature of the battlegrounds, he was one of the only Democrats that could likely pull us through the state that the nation was in at that time. So he said, even as old as he was then, because that was an issue back in 2020 as well, he said he would be a caretaker president and run for one term. And that's what he said. That's what Biden said. But as time went on, as happens with a whole lot of leaders, he wanted to hold on to the job. And what the Democratic Party did under his auspices was to prevent there from being a vibrant primary. So while we had Castro that wanted to run, Beto O'Rourke that wanted to run, and many others that wanted to run, we couldn't. They shut them out. They did all kinds of tricks. They told some vendors that if they weren't going to support the incumbent, that during the Democratic National Convention, they wouldn't be able to get their stuff sold. They did all kinds of things that they did. So, now that's party politics. It happens all over in every party. But the one thing Biden refused to accept then was that we all age differently. Had Biden been a Bernie Sanders or a Anthony Fauci or a Jim Clyburn, these guys have aged wonderfully. Each of those guys could serve 4 terms, right? Another term, a 4-year term right now. The honest reality is, as good as Biden is, Biden could not or would not, he's just not, he can run the country good because his recessive memory is perfect, but the short-term stuff is just not there. We can't let our eyes be fooled. We can't let others fool us otherwise. It's just not there. Now, Kamala Harris, because of the timeliness, is the only logical choice, because all the millions of dollars, $100 and so million, and all the infrastructure that is built out around the country would have had to be torn down or transferred with new monies, not with the money that she raised and Biden raised. They couldn't use those monies. So Kamala was not only the only choice, but lucky for us, she is a prosecuting choice. Just as Bridge and MCP put out there, we get a good meme: prosecutor versus prosecuted felon. So it is important for us to not allow the right to create dissension among us, because again, we didn't do this stuff cleanly. We didn't do this stuff. In fact, I could even say we didn't do this stuff ethically. But it didn't start now. It started way before. And this is not something that is uncommon to any party. This is just how things happen. Now, we as progressives, when we were under the Bernie Sanders domain, these are the kinds of things that we were trying to get around, not change that from the way it is. Now, I was going to go to Chicago for the Democratic Convention, but it was too expensive. And after going through Netroots, I had to choose this year between Netroots or Chicago. And I figured I could be a lot more effective at Netroots because that is a planning stage of winning the election. The planning stage. I have a booth with a couple of networks that if I got monies to travel to Chicago, I could actually get in with a couple of networks there that invited me. One of them is from Mark Thompson that you see me interview here all the time. He's I think with a series or one of them that I could actually broadcast from, but I just don't have the money for the Democratic Convention right now. I wish I did, and I know people are strapped, so I asked for support for the Netroots. Didn't get quite much yet, although we had a great contribution from our brother Bruce Pollard, who assisted quite a bit with our Netroots trip. I want to thank Bruce specifically for giving a great donation to help out with that trip, but I'm still behind the 8 ball in not only that trip, but some other things that we're doing. So I couldn't quite I couldn't quite make it to Chicago this time around, but we'll keep connected somehow. Anyhow, I have another video, and this video has gone viral. And what I want to ask you to do is to keep it viral. And how can we keep it viral? By you actually also putting it on all your social media and sharing it. And I'm going to give you that link in a minute. And I want to ask everybody to share this video in every single one of your channels. Please share this video. Let me skip that and get to the link. Copy the video URL. It's so far, according to the link here, it says 98,000 views, but on the back end, it says over 105,000 views. So please go ahead and share this one because this is an important video, and I'm going to play it for us right this minute. This morning, Senator Joe Manchin and Congressman Jim Clyburn were both on State of the Union on CNN. Again, at different times, of course, at two different interviews. And Senator Manchin gave some interesting statements about the Democratic Party, why he left, etc., etc. But Representative Clyburn had to dump some reality onto Manchin because of his nostalgia for what he thought the Democratic Party was, should be, etc. I want you to listen to this, and then we'll talk about it at the other side.
I left the Democrat Party because it's not the Democratic Party I grew up in that I always knew.
Yeah, for people who don't know, you left the Democratic Party, became an independent at the end of May.
At the end of May. And I've come to the conclusion this. I came from West Virginia, a little coal mining community of Farmington. And my parents, were lifelong Democrats, and most of the people I knew. John Kennedy made a tremendous play through that in 1960 to win the election, to be president of the United States, and I watched the excitement. And we are totally encapsulated in ask not what your country can do for you, what you can do for your country. And we're changing into society. How much more can my country do for me? Mm-hmm. That's not how I was raised. I was always fiscally responsible and socially compassionate. I never believed that government should be your provider. It should be your partner. And we always are willing to give people a helping hand, a hand up, not a continuous hand out, mm-hmm. make them dependent. We've lost that, and I think we need to bring that back. For 80 years, my state of West Virginia was a solid blue state. What happened? One of my colleagues asked me, Joe, what happened to the West Virginia Democrats? I says, nothing. They want to know what happened to the Washington Democrats. Here's a little state of mine, West Virginia, who's done the heavy lifting in Appalachia. They mined the coal, made the steel, built the guns and ships, built the middle class, if you will. They're patriotic. They've shed more blood, lost more lives for the cause of freedom than any region of the country. They've given everything that they have. And now, all of a sudden, we're not good enough, we're not smart enough, we're not green enough. My goodness, no one's given more than we have. Why did you leave them behind? That's what they believe. So I told my friend, that's the problem. You can't leave anybody behind.
I like Joe Manchin a whole lot. And Joe Manchin said this morning that this is not the Democratic Party of his father. And that is a great thing. Because my father, I remember when my father got the right to vote or cast an effective vote here in South Carolina. It was not until 1948 that the Democratic Party opened itself up to African Americans. No, this is not the Democratic Party of my father, and that is a great thing. And so let's go forward with these improvements that we've been making in this party, opening this party up to everybody, and keep it open to everybody. So the process is there. And I think we ought to utilize that process and go to Chicago. And when we open on the 19th of August, do so on one accord.
First of all, I am so glad that Clyburn slapped back. Manchin thinks that this is not the party of his daddy. This is not the party of when I was young. This isn't the party of 80 years ago. This is a party, the people in West Virginia and Appalachia, they're asking the question. And that question is, we haven't stopped being Democrats. We haven't stopped. The Democrats just stopped being us. That's BS. And Clyburn did an excellent job of pointing that out. I don't want the Democratic Party to be the party of Joe Manchin's father or Clyburn's father, because that was a party that even makes what the Republican Party has become today. Well, we don't need to go there. But anyway, Manchin also in his commentary said some things that were rather silly. He claimed that the Democratic Party has become this party of people who are asking what the country can do for them instead of what they can do for the country. He also said that that what he wants is a party that gives people a hands up but not hands out. He also claims that Biden failed, that Biden did very well, but that somehow the party fails at several things. So let's clean this up perfectly. First of all, America is not a country where the people sit back and depend on the government. Where the people need the government is because of what the wealthy has told the government to do, and where the wealthy, along with the government has failed. Let's be clear here. America has a very, very small, very, very wealthy class. They didn't get wealthy on what they did. They didn't get wealthy on their intellect. They didn't get wealthy on what they produced or the services that they provided. They got wealthy on the backs of every single one of the people that Manchin just called dependents, that Manchin pretty much said they are loafers. That's who the wealthy has created their wealth from. Let's be clear here. You get up every morning around this country, go to the bus stops, look at the freeways. These are people in America, the vast majority of Americans, going like hell to work. They're working their asses off. And why are they doing that? They are doing that because more and more they have to work a lot more as they get a smaller piece of the pie. There's only one class here that can be considered a parasite, or that can be considered parasites. And those are the wealthy folks who don't want to pay taxes, who don't want to invest in lifting the people up who have actually made them wealthy. As I stated so many times, we are still in the realms or in the reign of slavery, slave and master. The only difference is that the corporations and the wealthy has learned to do it in a more antiseptic manner. In a very more antiseptic manner. And Manchin should know better. He is the one who decided that he was not going to support the massive program to really start to bring the middle class up, to bring some recovery to the middle class that the wealthy has stolen since Reagan inception. Actually, it's before that, but Reagan put it on steroids. Let's not fall for the okadoke. Let's not fall for the belief that Democrats are out there trying to make America a dependent country, a country where the people are always sucking on the government. There's only one class that makes massive amounts of money from the government through subsidies, through lack of paying their fair share in taxes, and all of that. And that is the wealthy class. And until you can incorporate that in your mind and understand the reality of how economics work, you will continue to buy the trope that somehow most Americans want to be sucking on the government, which is a fallacy. Go out the door every day, go to a restaurant, go to a store, go everywhere that you want to go, and you find the American people working. Most people work. The wealthy are cared for. Don't ever sit back and believe, oh, the wealthy does something that makes them earn the billions that they have, when it is done on your intellect. It's you who go to work and build the factories. It's you who go to work and make the canned goods. It's you who go to work and create the cars. It's you who go to work and do all these things, yet they tell you that you are somehow less than, and that wealthy person who has somebody serving him or her day after day, that they're the creators and they're the job creators. They're the ones that do things. If you believe that, I've got a bridge to sell you in Brooklyn. Folks, we got to assert our worth. We have to let them know we know what we are. We know who we are, and we know who actually produces things. We got to stop it. We got to wake up, and we have to stop having them put the split between Appalachia and the ghettos and the barrios and the people. We got to get out of that. We should be working together for those who really made this country what it is today. It is not the wealthy. It is not the rich. It is not the billionaire. And until we get it in our mind, until we get the pride in ourselves, until we believe the truth of who and what we are, Manchin would continue to be able to say the stupidity that you just heard, that somehow we are dependent, somehow the Democratic Party has of 80 years ago is gone. Yes, I'm glad the Democratic of 80 years ago is gone, and now we have a party that says we believe in bringing equity, we believe in equal access to success. That's who we are, and that's who we shall remain. And there's nothing we're going to allow this sycophancy for the wealthy to change. So, middle class, working class, if you know what's the right thing to do to ensure these policies support you, you better go for a ticket that's not trying to minimize who you are, but that is trying to enhance who you are and have the capacity to be. Absolutely so. I want to show you guys, Brian, I want to do this respectfully, but I want to show how the Powell memo, how the indoctrination in America from birth has created an enslaved mind. Brian says, it's the wealthy who put their capital and future at risk. I want you guys to listen to that statement. It's the wealthy who put their capital, and I'll go as long as I need to, British. If you tell me that, I will. Look, listen to this. Brian says, and I want you guys to walk this street with me. It's the wealthy who put their capital and future at risk. I once told you that this economic system doesn't care about humanity. It only cares about capital. But worse, it has the humans that are the slaves within the system, the workers. It makes them also look at capital as having more importance. How do I know that? Because listen to Brian. I want to deconstruct that. It's the wealthy who put their capital and future at risk. And then he says, workers just have to go get a job. Let's deconstruct this. What is your life worth? Is it worth money? Is it worth anything? Because the guys who build the skyscrapers in downtown Houston, in downtown New York, in downtown California, they risk their lives when they're on those scaffolds, when they are on those things building. They're risking their lives for a building they likely cannot go into. They're risking their lives for a skyscraper they probably can't go into. They're breathing in fumes that will get them sick decades later, that the rich person isn't going to want to pay for, even though they got it on the job. I repeat, the enslaved mind, the enslaved mindset is such inculcated within our psyche that we, those that will never be able to get capital because capital breeds capital, we are there defending those people who abuse our work, our worth, our intellect. You put a rich person on an island you put a rich person who bought an island and isolate that island. That island can grow food, etc. You put the farmer who is the worker and the rich person on the island. You can't get anything out of there from the rich person. The person who can survive is the farmer. Yet we have Brian within his mind thinking that the worker just has to find a job, as if the work itself isn't intrinsically a risk as well. You know, it boggles the mind that we continue to bestow upon the wealthy unearned value. These people go to school, they get a business degree, and they go work for a Wall Street firm where they trade paper, stocks. They didn't create anything. They didn't have the intellect to create anything of value, yet you revere them. You may be out there sweeping floors. You may be out there doing welding. You may be out there doing all these things, while that person just went to business school, started trading stocks, and owns you. Because when they decide that metal corporation no longer produces what it is, they break it up into pieces and sell it as pieces of paper. They don't even know what it looks like on the inside, but they sell you like a slave, and you continue to support policies where you give these guys, it's so, the enslaved, look, you know, back in Panama now, we have a lot of these memes on things where it says, you have a mind, you have your head, and within that head, they put a chain. The enslaved mind is worse than enslaved bodies. Because when we enslave it's the same thing that pastors know, right? Pastors know something very important. When you go to the church the first time, I'm talking these evangelical churches, you go to the church, they don't ask you for anything. They don't ask you for money. They shower you with stuff. And they start to work on your mind. And as they work on your mind, they teach you about tithing. And they teach you about all these things that Jesus tells you should be doing within for the church. I'm not talking about the good deeds now. Doing within the church. And then by the end, they don't care that you don't give an offering every Sunday, because by the end, they know that they will have your mind. And if they have your mind, right, what it says is that they have everything that you own. And again, I can't force you to understand, Brother Brian H. So when you say, stop telling me I am wrong, you're absolutely wrong. And I've explained why you're wrong. Whenever you go to work, you're risking your body. Whenever that person risks capital, if you think risking capital is more important than risking the body, that means you care more about capital than humanity. I've explained it. If you don't understand that, my brother, if you don't understand that, it's not a, I trade my effort and time for currency. You see again? That's an enslaved mind. I trade my time and currency. It's not an even swap. It's not an even swap. And as you continue to think that, as you continue to think that, then that is the reason why society is hard to change, because we have to change people one person at a time to remove that chain from the mind. All right, Michael Radin said, Egberto, churches are supposed to promote humanitarianism, but how many churches you know are actually doing that? My wife's church does that. I love my wife's pastor. He actually works within the community and do those things, and he's a progressive like I am. Just so you know where I stand on churches, any church that promotes a political message other than humanitarianism should lose your tax exempt status. I agree with you. Let's see what else we got. Why is it not an even swap? Because it isn't. Again, you're equating life and limb with capital. That's why people don't support Medicare for all and all these things, because we somehow think that capital is more important than well-being. It is not. It is not. It's not circular logic. Your logic is circular. My logic is factual. All right. Let's see. Paul Fleming says federal judge rejects a request to block Utah's certification of its primary election results from a GOP congressional candidate who alleged that mail-in ballots were wrongly rejected due to mail delays. I would hope that they'd reject that. You know, it's funny. The mail delay, and you should be disenfranchised for that? No way. All right. Anybody wants to call in to make some comment to make some commentary? 281-823-7747. Again, the number is 281-823-7747. All ears for the call. Let's see what else we got here. If there's any other things. In Michigan, women make 81 cents on the dollar compared to men. Last time he was in office, Mike Rogers repeatedly voted against closing the wage gap. We can't let him anywhere near the Senate. Absolutely not. All right. Good afternoon, Ray Brackens. How you doing?
I'm good, brother Egberto. I first want to give space to the late Sheila Jackson Lee.
Yes.
She was someone that, when I saw her in the room, I actually had the pleasure of introducing her at an event when she had to come out for the community during Hurricane Harvey. She's kind of like a grandma figure to me, and I know the community felt very close to her, and typically I don't get close to politicians, but I felt like she was a real one. So rest in paradise, Sheila Jackson Lee. You got some big shoes to fill.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah. Whoever takes that position is really gonna have some big shoes to fill, and I wish them well, because again, it's not gonna be an easy task, because everybody is gonna be saying this is how Sheila would have done it. And I don't know if you were on the program this morning, because I gave a full thing on her this morning, and
it was beautiful, Egberto. Thank you for that. I really appreciated the words you gave to her this morning. I didn't call in because it was a big line, and I just wanted to just listen in. So but
Sheila was a friend. I could call her up for an interview anytime. That's the link that I did for her. I took a picture with her at an event. Anybody wants to click on that, you can see the picture that I took with Sheila Jackson Lee, and it also has a link to several interviews that I did with her a few years ago. She was always again. At first I had she's a camera loving woman, and at first I didn't realize how wrong I was. She had to make her way. She had to demand the attention. She had to demand it in this man's world. And I learned that quickly, and I just simply fell in love with who she was then.
Yeah, and I mean, she used that camera time and that microphone to push the needs of the community, of the people, and that's what I respected so much about her. I mean,
right.
I could say, I mean, although it's bittersweet, I find it, somewhat comforting to know, even though we lost Sheila Jackson Lee, we have, up there in the Dallas area, we have a Jasmine Crockett who's going to be the
Oh
next generation of
yes,
Texas congressional leadership,
yes. I've
and
interviewed Jasmine
and
Crockett 3 times, and the thing about it is, I can't. I've tried to reach her over the last 2 months, and I can't. Again, she's like a star in the party now, and it's really every bit of that she's doing now is she's going places following the pattern of the routine. So I don't know if I'm going to be able to get her till after
yeah,
the election, but she's doing a lot for the
yeah,
party right now.
she's all you put her name in the search. There's a lot of different podcasters that have got her attention now. So I understand Egberto, but she'll come back to Texas soon enough, I'm sure. But back to the national discussion. I was one of those people that, like you said, I was wondering what the hell they were going to do with this Biden thing. You know what? In retrospect, hindsight is 2020, but it might have been one of those things that worked out because now all of the Republicans got all fired up and juiced up. They got Terry Bollea. I refuse to call him by his stage name because he doesn't deserve that anymore. Terry Bollea with the ripped shirt and the bleach blonde bad built body. I don't care for him anymore. Okay, he could go somewhere in Haktua, if you know what that means, because he put Trump right there on the stage. But yeah, I mean, basically, all of them really did that, especially like J.D. Vance because of everything he said. He said what I said. He agreed with me. At some
Hmm.
point, me and J.D. Vance agreed that Trump was the American Hitler. And yet
Yep.
he's standing next to Trump like, yeah, boss, I'm here, but he's manipulative. That's the one you really can't trust. He's the
Right,
most
because
manipulative because now
he's smart.
oh,
No, I'm saying the reason
that's a
why
nice picture.
he's actually smart. Yeah, that is I took that with Sheila a few years ago, and I think I don't remember. I don't think I interviewed her there, but I just kind of saw her. She was running around, and I think that's the place. I think she was getting honored for something there. I don't remember what it was, but yeah.
But yeah, and I mean, I think back to my point. I think it actually worked in our favor because had they big, bye whatever with all the, like I said, Trump comes from the wrestling world, so no wonder he had Terry Bollea. I get it, but now that they picked Kamala, now that Biden is officially not running for re-election and Kamala has which Kamala has the mantle. And by the way, I'm a little ashamed to say that I was a follower before I started watching you, Egberto. I was a pretty loyal follower of Cenk Uygur, and I'm kind of disappointed by some of his views on how this convention process should be handled because he talks about no one should be anointing Kamala Harris. I mean, I
Uh,
understand, he has that, reactionary progressive, vibe on his show, but I don't vibe with him. He's kind of, he's kind of broken ranks with, where I stand. He's gone too extreme as far as I'm concerned, as far as what we need to do to win this race.
Let me tell
But
you
I
what,
love
Shank.
that Biden is stepping down.
Yeah, now let me tell you this. Okay,
Which,
Shank. Let me tell you about Shank. I met Shank and quite a few of these guys, and there are even times that we were going to do some collaborations, right? But I found that I don't want to let me not go there, but let me just say this one thing about a lot of these guys. A lot of these guys are privileged in this regards. They believe they want some sort of a purity, but they don't understand that we don't have. There are some people. If Trump wins, Schenck will be okay. Schenck has money stashed in a bank. He has monies stashed elsewhere that he'll survive. And a lot of these progressives that are in the leadership or in the media leadership, etc., they can survive. But I can't be looking out for those people who just survive, that can survive, so they can be as tough as they want. Let's let them pay. Let's let Kamala pay for having done XYZ and not being the perfect progressive. Or they can do that, and then she loses, and then they go ahead and they start making money again on being the opposition. I mean, they can do that. But that person who doesn't get the support from the policies that Biden puts that has in play, they have to wait another 4 years with the expectation that something happens, and they suffer for 4 years. When I have my programs here, I don't think about what's best for the wealthiest of those that are watching us or doing for us. I think about those people who can't even watch us in real time, that are working, but I get a letter from them or an email from them that says, "Wow, I saw you at midnight last night, and wow, that spoke to me." We got to get there. We have to stop thinking of only ourselves. And Schenk and those guys, a lot of times, they're only thinking about what's purity and what's pleasurable for them, not what works for everybody. Anyway, what else, my friend?
Yeah, and I mean they should be ashamed because they control that message. But anyway, enough of them. As far as my mind about this, there's basically three people that I've listened to kind of correct my thinking on it. It was you had a more level-headed approach to this, like it's going to work itself out. Right now, Biden is who he is. The other person who I listened to was Roland Martin, because he kept saying
Yes.
all these polls that they're getting, they're probably only sampling about 100 black people. That's not a big enough sample. Y'all need to calm down. Kamala Harris has the money bag. All y'all talking about we need an open convention. You don't say who this mystery Democrat is that can beat Trump is, but you're so convinced it's not Kamala Harris. And, I mean, I just needed to hear the voice of reason. And, this news kind of, puts me a little bit more at a level head, because now as a local progressive that, has to open the conversation, one-on-one with people, it's an easier conversation to say, well, now we have Kamala Harris on the top of the ticket. This is what it means, and then all of the deficiencies of Joe Biden just go away, but you still have the platform and you still have the team.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And who's the third person? You mentioned myself and Roland Martin, which I listened to Roland as well.
Oh yeah, the third part that is actually this kid. I don't know where he's from. He does a lot of independent polls on the Electoral College. He has a page on YouTube, so he always is doing like polling in each state. Saying even though Biden is not in the lead, he still has the best chance. And of course, he went down the line, even going through Bernie Sanders and all these other people. And, he always kind of keeps a needle on I would say he's better than, say a Nate Silver who has lost credibility a long time ago. But,
Right.
As far as predicting the Electoral College way. And then that other guy, oh, I forgot. He went against Cenk Uygur in the debate. He has these 13 keys to the presidency, and he sounds like somebody that I've been following a lot. I can't remember his
I
name
know.
either
It's a
historically.
professor. I know who you mean. Yeah, I know exactly who you mean. And
Yeah.
Biden was still hadn't fulfilled any keys to lose. Yeah, I saw that. But anyway, Bridge asks, Egberto, what do you think about Mark Kelly as VP? I would love Mark Kelly as VP out of Arizona. In fact, I was convinced of Mark Kelly this morning by a TikTok a young woman on TikTok who gave a cogent response, and I said, "Wow, I love that. That makes a lot of sense." Yvette says, I was just at Roland Martin's Unfiltered taping, helping with the Delta Workers Unite campaign that I'm helping with. Please watch and share the above video clip. I'll do that, my dear. I will do that. And I've been trying to reach out to Roland Martin, but again, it's hard to reach so many people. I want to get Roland Martin on because he had the inside scoop of the party was trying to stiff Kamala Harris. And it was from the top of the party, and I get, so they kind of clamped that down rather quickly. But it's amazing what was happening in the background. But anyway, folks, anything else that you want to say, my dear brother? Oh, I guess
I want to get your thoughts. Oh, I'm still here. I
yeah,
want to
okay.
get your last thoughts on a dream ticket of Kamala Harris and Bernie Sanders, and I'll leave on to that.
Let me tell you, I don't think we're going to get a Kamala Harris and Bernie. And the reason that I wouldn't necessarily run or try to push a Kamala Bernie ticket is because I think we'll lose the age narrative again. Even though he would be the number 2 on the ticket, we'll lose that age narrative, moving to the next generation. I would love to get, if we're going to get and the other thing is that Kamala is being sold as the progressive. It's not really so. She's not as progressive as Bernie and Rokana or Pramila Jayapal or any of them, but that is what we are stuck with right now. So I am willing to go with the more moderate person. That's Kelly from Arizona. And let me tell you something else. Remember that Biden gave us more progressive policies than any other president. So it's worth thinking about. you know and it's worth thinking. But look, like I said, that is just my opinion, and that's all it is, an opinion, right? uh that's all it's worth.
Well,
But
thank you,
let me
brother.
just
That's what I asked for. So,
thank you, brother. You have a great one. Thank you for calling in. Before I leave here, I want to tell folks that we are going to win this, and the landslide that I've spoken about is still on. The Republicans are, or I should say, MAGA is in a tizzy fit right now. They don't know what to do. The only thing that they have right now is racism, sexism, and misogyny. That is what they're going to try to use on Kamala Harris. And while there is still a large percentage of the population, maybe 30 something percent of the population that's that way. And by the way, and I'm not only talking white folks now. When I talk about prejudice and racism and all of that, it's not only from white people with regards to Kamala Harris, black men. And if you take a look at what CSAC just placed in there, guess who else knows that? The right wing knows that there's a sect of black men, specifically some of the more religious ones, right? They have that sexist thing, and they're going to use that. Kamala Harris locked up black men. Yes, she locked up bad black men, and they're going to try to use that to sort of split her black men vote. They can try, but there are too many good people of all ethnicities out there that this time around it's not going to work. And the reason it's not going to work is that we will be prepared for it. So as those attacks come, we will be ready. Anybody else want to call in to say anything before I close us down? Let's see what else we got. Alice Aaron Dream says, and they have to keep racism, misogyny, etc. under the radar. Oh, it's not going they're going to be way outside. Look at what Mike Cisak put in the chat. Where do you think Mike Cisak got that statement from? Mike Cisak doesn't know a damn thing about Kamala Harris, but their machine has pushed that to Mike Cisak already, so that Mike Cisak and all those other MAGA folks are going to be those little antennas for the MAGA, for Donald Trump putting out the lies, right? They're going to be the antennas. And that's why I tell all of you here, we have to be the same. We have to do the same. We have to promote our stuff. When I tell you guys, go out there and keep this stuff that I put out there going viral, so that other people get informed, that's what I'm talking about. But anyhow, I got to close down the show now. I want to ask all of you that have the ability to do so to please become a paid supporter of Politics Done Right, the newsletter that we put out called Egberto Off the Record. And how can you do that? go to politicsandright.com/support. It's politicsandright.com/newsletter. There are other ways to support us, and you can do that by going to politicsandright.com/support. Politicsandright.com/support. But again, to start, you can support us by simply becoming a paid supporter of that newsletter. That helps a lot. I need 1,000+ for this stuff to work. So please sign up at politicsandright.com/newsletter. Let's see what else we got here. Para ver. Yvette Avery Harris said she would destroy him. Bridget is calling, so I guess I can't leave yet because my sister is calling. Talk to me, Bridget.
Yeah, I'm sorry. It's so late. I know. Thank you for going over. I just wanted to get your thoughts. I just posted it, but you didn't see it. Do you think that Trump will debate Kamala?
No, I don't think
No,
so.
neither do I.
He
He's scared
he
shit of her.
cannot debate. Look, Kamala is going to make mincemeat out of Donald Trump because it's a prosecutor against a convicted felon. And what she's going to be able to do is every lie that she tells, she is going to be able to define it as a lie. She's not going to spend a lot of time saying you're lying, you're lying, you're lying. She's going to define the lie. What you're saying is a lie. This is what we did, and this is what we're going to do going forward. And that's going to kill Trump because she's going to define it as a lie,
Exactly.
give the evidence, and all she can look. 2 minutes to answer a question, Breach. 2 minutes, right? You use the first 30 seconds to go ahead and define the lie and tell the truth. 15 seconds to define the lie, 15 seconds to tell the truth, and 90 seconds to go out there and say what you are going to do to make America's life better. So every time the rotation comes to you, America is going to learn something else that Harris, let's say a Harris Kelly ticket is going to do for you. And that's the debate style that Biden cannot handle because she's quick thinking,
Right.
and she knows the material.
Well, she's like 30 years younger than him. She's quick. She's fast. And a lot
Right.
of people on the right and the left, they don't like her. But the funny thing is, I found it amazing that when a man does it, it's called he's being bold or assertive. When a woman does it, excuse me, but she's called a bitch. She's
Yeah.
called, insulting and all this crap. And she's not. She's just being the same way they are. But it's a woman.
Exactly.
She's still not up to board yet. But
It's the
I know
same thing that
Vance,
Hillary
J.D.
went through.
Vance,
Yeah. I'm
right,
sorry.
but Hillary didn't have the guts to something to do with it. I don't know what she was doing, and he was stalking her when he was doing it. It was like, what the hell was that? But she's quick, and she's fast, and she's right on the money. And there's no way his party is telling him, campaign is telling him, do not debate her. And he's
Yeah.
like, I wanted to do not debate her. And Vance would even said before Biden stepped down, he said, I won't debate her because he can't
No.
debate her. Those
No.
men cannot debate Kamala Harris, and she would destroy them. I
Mhm.
mean, remember when she had the debate with Pence? I
Oh,
think
yeah.
that's when the fly went on his head. It was
Yes.
hysterical.
Yes.
And I saw her on Rachel Maddow with the fly, and Rachel was like, can I ask you about the fly? And I just laughed, but it was very funny. But she kept on interrupting him and saying, I'm speaking. So she'll put them in their place. So there's no
Yeah.
way they'll debate her. She'll destroy
No, I mean,
them. And Eric's
yeah.
saying he'll destroy her. I was like, Eric, you're an idiot. No.
But look, Eric,
all the things that
again, the funny thing about it is,
I know you
again,
love him.
no. I wasn't talking about Eric. I completely disregarded what Eric was on Earth 2 today. He was in a different reality today. I love my brother, but he was living a different reality. Nothing close to
He
what's
usually
really
is.
happening. Yeah. So here's the thing. They can't debate, right? So the only thing they can do is bring down, and like I said, Reverend Al said it on MSNBC. I heard him after I wrote about it, and that said that we are still in the honeymoon stage. Everybody's happy. We got a change. We got a young person that can go out there and fight. But the onslaught that is about to hit Kamala Harris and the bad thing
Oh,
about it
God.
is the media is going to be complicit. The mainstream media is going to be complicit. And that is what we're going to have to solve. It seems like I have another call as well. So stay on, Breach. We're going to try to do this connection.
That's okay.
All right. Hello. Are you calling Politics Done Right?
Yes.
Hello. Yeah. How are you doing? Let me go ahead and
Yes,
tie these calls. All right. What's your name?
My name's
Hello?
Jane McDaniel.
Hi, Jane. How are you
My
doing, my
name
friend?
is
Talk.
Jane. I'm
Okay.
good. I just wanted to say, actually, I don't need to go on the TV, but unless I'm already there, I don't know.
Oh
But
yeah,
I just
everybody
wanna
can
say,
hear you.
I do not like Kelly.
You don't like Kelly?
Why?
And no.
Why?
Because I heard he voted against something, and I can't remember what exactly it was, but it wasn't good. And
Let me
I
ask.
do like Mhm. Go ahead.
Okay. Who do you like?
I've only looked into it a little bit, but I am from what I saw, I would
Uh-huh.
pick Brazier. Or
I like.
however you say his name. But
Let me just. Yeah. That guy from Kentucky, the governor of Kentucky.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me
Yep.
express it this way.
But
Let me express it this way. We should not. Kamala is going to be the presidential candidate. A lot of people don't like all the things that Kamala has done. Nobody's perfect. A lot of people don't like some of the things that Kelly has done. I don't particularly know what you're speaking about. Let's say Kelly, but what we have to do is
It
something
was
that,
something.
uh-huh, and that's fine. But what I'm saying is, when we come up with a ticket, we have to really look at the existential threat that the fascists that are coming into play are. And let me first say, your vote is important, very important. And
We
what's
have
even more,
5 votes in my hand.
yeah. And let me just say
I'm
this
sorry.
here. Yeah, let me just tell you this. Your vote is important. And even after you vote for the ticket, the Democratic ticket in November, you still have to remain
Mhm.
engaged. You still have to remain engaged. One of the things we did with Obama is we voted for Obama and we thought everything was going to be okay. And we didn't force Obama to do a lot of things that Obama should have done. And in not forcing Obama to do the things that he should have done, we got Donald Trump. I know Hillary won the popular vote, but we didn't do enough for the right people to have won with a landslide that progressives need to win with to get the electoral college. So, what we have to do, in my humble opinion, is we have to work hard to not just get somebody that we want elected, but actually we have to keep the pressure on them. That's why Biden was so successful. The progressive the progressive caucus kept the pressure on Biden, and he didn't become a progressive, he passed more progressive policies than anybody else. You see what I'm saying, my friend?
Oh, that's
Great.
the
Well,
best president we ever had.
exactly.
But don't you
yeah,
also,
Harris.
don't
Yeah, I like her more and more.
Yeah, go ahead.
don't you
Go
also
ahead.
think that I think that with Hillary Clinton, both Kamala Harris is a woman, Hillary is a woman. They
Mhm,
didn't like them. A lot of women
mhm.
didn't like them, both sides.
Right,
But
right.
Hillary Clinton, she didn't. She was right in what she was doing and saying, but the moderators of that debate, they sucked. But how do you have somebody, when you're debating, walk around behind you, stalk
Mhm,
you, say things? I mean, it was ridiculous. But
Oh, that was
mhm.
both
horrible.
of them, wasn't it? It was horrible.
Yeah.
But both of them are
Again,
women, and they play on that.
right. But let me
Go
tell you,
ahead.
Breach, I forgot what your name was, the other caller. Breach and who else again?
Me?
Ma'am,
My
what's
name's Jane.
Jane? Okay,
And I'm
Breach and
76
Jane.
years old.
We're not 76 years young. 76 years young. Okay? 76 years
Yeah,
young. Remember
You got
that.
10 years on me.
Oh, I've always watched politics, and I watch it 24 hours. Not while I'm awake. I'm watching you right now, and I watch all of them.
Well, look,
Everybody.
I appreciate that I appreciate you, but let me just say this here, Jane, because women are going to get a hard time, and even women on TV, meaning the women reporters and women journalists, give women a hard time as well, except Mika Brzezinski. Mika Brzezinski is great, but most of the other Mika Brzezinski as well as Katie Tur. But let's be clear here. The only people that are going to be defending the Kamala Harris ticket in the media, because it's going to be independent media. I can tell you that. Be prepared for. Let me give an example. Another thing that we had in the chat from Mike Cisak, and all of this is coming from the right wing machine. Okay, they're now saying, "Oh, Kamala slept her way into success." No, the woman is smart.
Oh, I was just going to say that.
Right?
I was just going to say that.
Yeah.
That's how they think.
Right.
But Trump is a felon, and how many rape convictions and little girls has he been with? They don't care about that. But they think she slept her way to the top. No way could she be smart.
And here's the thing.
Living in the 1800s?
I will be writing blogs. And doing videos that refute that, right? But it's not going to get refuted in the mainstream media. So this video that I just told you guys went viral. I need all the things that we put on video to also be promoted by all of you that are listening, because the mainstream media is not going to correct the stupidity that we get from the MAGA folks who are simply parroting that information that they get from their sources. They're paid informants that's doing that. So I'm saying, folks, we have a lot of work to do. I'm prepared. My writing fingers and typing fingers are ready to go. And that's what we have to do. So look, I got to get out of here now, guys.
I share everything that you do. I share in my group of 40,000 people. So
I appreciate that.
Your stuff all the time, Eduardo. All right.
Please remember to share the time. Wait, Breach. But please, Breach, remember to share the actual link to the YouTube videos as well. That is what's so important, because people know.
That's what I do. That's
okay,
exactly
great.
What I do.
Great. Thank you very much. Anyway, folks, thank you very much.
All right, I'll ask you later.
All right, we'll talk later, guys. All right. I really enjoyed all the calls that I got today. I'd like to get more. But I got to get out of here. I got to go process my Netroots Nation videos. I have 44 of them to process. I've only done about 15 so far. Anyhow, folks, I want to ask you guys one more time to please support the program. And how can you support the program? You can support the program by going to politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Please become a paid subscriber of our newsletter by going to politicsdoneright.com. Whoops, where we go here. Let me put it here. politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Anyway, I got to get out of here. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out! Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to hear your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you.
Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is politics done right.